Hi everyone! Today, we'll be doing something very unique. I'm going to be reviewing a video game development tool that I'm beta testing. Robert Toana, a game developer from Coventry University, is working on a project where he is developing a tool for procedural terrain generation for Unity game engine that allows the user to create ringworlds. I recorded a bit of the demo that Robert has created behind me to show what a ringworld is. I'm pressing play so you can see it right now. So basically, a ringworld is an artificial world bearing the shape of a rotating wheel with a sun at its center. It is based on the real scientific notion of a spinning circular space station and on the hypothetical scientific concept of a Dyson sphere, a megastructure in which a star is covered with a shell in order to capture all of its energy output. If it spins, the Dyson sphere can create its own gravity along the equator. The idea of a Dyson sphere as a habitable world first appeared in the 1970 novel Ringworld by Larry Niven and has been used in science fiction works ever since, such as the Halo franchise, Dice Legacy, and the TV series The Book of Boba Fett. So now, let's take a look at the demo file that Robert has provided. So this is the demo file that he has provided, and as you can see, he has already created a demo ringworld, and you can zoom in to see the detailed terrains. And here in the inspector, you can see all of the different properties. So the ringworld is here. So now it's selected. And you can see the continents with different biomes. So if you look on the right-hand corner, you will see that each of them has a different, so each chunk here, and then biomes, you can see that, they are actually determined by start height. So if you hover here, you can see the tooltip here. It says the height from which this biome will begin being used. And then you will see different ones for like stone, for example. So the stones have their own texture and their start height. And stone 2, as well as snow. There's also snow in this ring world. So now let's take a closer look at what the ring world looks like when you're on ground level. So now I've adjusted the camera, so now it is at floor level. It's at 1 instead of 100, which it was at before, because I wanted to show a more macro feeling of what the ring world looked like. So now we can see the player character, and she's just walking, and we can see that there's trees here, and now let's run. And that there's the water, and you can see that there's the rest of the ring world ahead of us. So there's a lot to explore. So now this is the water. Now let's take a look at the different scripts he has included in the ring world. So when you go back to scene, select ring world, and then go to ring world script. So there's a place for spinning speed, which is the spinning speed of the ring world, and it is currently at this, so you can adjust it if you want. For example, let's not make it too fast because that's going to be dizzying. So like that, for example, gravitation pull at radius is already established, and when you look at the separate parts, as we talked about before, you're going to see the biomes, and you can actually adjust the biomes. Let's try adjusting it now. So for example, seed, you can adjust seed, and that would change a lot of things. So for example, let's change it to 4,000. And then you have to refresh layer chunks. So now look, it has changed. So we can try doing it again just to generate new terrain. 3,000. Noise scale, we can change that as well. 300. Persistence. Texture size, spawn limit, that's fine. So we could increase blend strength for sand, and blend strength is just like the texture here. So like if you increase the blend strength, then the green and the yellow, you know, that make up the grass and the sand respectively, are going to blend into each other more, as I understand it. And you know, there's a vegetation table for each of these, which I'm not going to change. But let's, okay, increase blend strength for snow as well. Respawn vegetation and refresh trunks. So you can see that there have been some changes already. And when you look here, you can see that the terrain has changed. Well, we're in the water right now. Yeah, because before we were not in the water, but now we are. Okay, so now let's take a look at how we can create our own ring world from scratch. So we can just erase this, for example, just get rid of this one and then go to Ringworld Forger, which you will have access to if you downloaded the assets from Robert, and then you would create a new ring world. So it should be here somewhere now. Yes, there it is. So you can see there's a new ring world here. And we can adjust accordingly. So editor preview, let's make it more detailed. And as you can see, it looks pretty much the same as the previous one, only it's less detailed. So we can also come here and then we look at terrain, and then we also do seed. Let's do seed again. 3000. See what it looks like. Noise scale, let's make it 1000. And then we refresh layer chunks. Respawn vegetation. So it looks very smooth now, so we don't want that. So let's do a smaller noise. Okay, so now that's what it looks like. That's a little bit extreme. 1000. That's too much. So we have to do something in between. 100. Yeah, that looks a bit more normal. And then we would go back to seed. Let's try 4000. So let's take a look at how we can add the player into our ring world now. So the first thing you have to do is go to Ringworld Forger at the top and then create a new centrifugal body. And then you can see it here, so then put it in the middle of the ring world. And then from there, we would add the RF controller, which is under Ringworld Forger and samples and free prefabs. So we would put it here in the middle again. And then from here, we need to have a camera because we do not have a camera right now. So then we would just right click on RF controller and then select camera from the menu. So now you can see there's a camera here. Okay. So now let's move all of these down. So they should be able to see, okay, they are actually not inside the thing. So we need to move it here so it's inside the ring world and then go down. And now let's take a look at what the camera looks like. So we are nearly at, okay, so we are at that level. So we can just save it and then, okay, we have to exit play mode. Oh, but here it is. Oh, we're falling through. But, oh, it's because of our position. Our position is -37 right now. So we need to put it at 1 and then save. Okay, here we are. So we can move through the terrain and we can see a lot of stuff here. Perfect. And I'm just going to play around the camera so you guys can take a look at the camera here. So for example, rendering path. Field of view, so we can actually zoom out like this. Move it a little bit up, like that. And now let's take a look at the Ringworld, and we can still change some things here. Terrain. So let's take a look at the vegetation table. So here, let's select forest vegetation. And then respawn vegetation. Refresh layer chunks. And let's do seed 5,000. So now we can see there's more mountains. Oh, we're just falling through. That's kind of terrifying. We're just like falling down here now. Right, it's moved, that's why. Okay, should be okay now. Okay, here we are. So now this is the new terrain that I've generated. So after pressing the respawn vegetation button and uploading a vegetation table to the biome under grass under biome, basically we now see a bunch of vegetation all over our ring world. So we can adjust it right now and adjust the vegetation spawn limit to maybe something like 700 because there's a lot right now. And let's see what it looks like. Seems like I can't clear it because the stuff from last time still seems to be here. Okay, let me see what it looks like right now when you look at camera. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and there's a lot and a lot of trees. Okay, so let's respawn the vegetation again. So we select vegetation table, forest vegetation, and then we select vegetation spawn limit 2,500. That's pretty decent. Respawn it. Okay, so now we can see that this is a better and more realistic way to see it instead of just being overwhelmed by these crazy amount of trees. I think this is a bit better and more realistic. So you can see that there's some random trees on the rocks as well, so we need to correct that, I think. Well, there's nothing here, actually. Okay, let's take a look at how the game is going to work. So let's go to camera, game. Okay, so we are in the game now. Let's see, we're falling down. And we're going to be taking a look at how many trees we have spawned. We're just climbing up the mountain right now. Are there any trees on the mountains? Like from the top it looked like there were, but I wasn't quite sure. It's hard to see. So we're running. Let's climb up to the top of a mountain to see if that's the truth. So we're going up a mountain now. We can't really seem to go up. Okay. We're just climbing up the mountain. Can't seem to go up. But yes, some of the trees are a very strange direction. It seems like a tornado has torn through the thing. I wonder how we can adjust the angles. There probably is a way, but I'm not really quite sure because this is one of my first times using Unity. So there will be mistakes. But yes, here are the trees I generated. Pretty cool, huh? And now the last step is to playtest the game. So after building the game, it's time to play it, and this is what it looks like. So let's take a look at what the game looks like. As you can see, we are running. We can see a lot of trees. And we can see the stars. And we can see our silhouette, a stone here. And that's the rest of the Ringworld. You can see it coming up. So we do need to adjust blend, it seems like, because the demarcation between stone and grass is too rigid. It looks like a cartoon. So we need to blend it to make it more realistic. And this is the edge of the world. Let's see what happens if we go off it. Ready? Woo! We're falling! And let's see what happens. Did we die? Or did we just keep on falling indefinitely? We'll see. I think there's no mechanism to die, so we're just going to be falling indefinitely. So have you ever wondered what happens if you fall off the Ringworld? This is what happens. At least in this game. So, to recap what I think of this wonderful tool, I think it's brilliantly designed and, it's very innovative, especially for people who want to design worlds like this. And there aren't that many games in the sci-fi world that explore this concept, at least not that I know of. So this would be a really great asset for people who want to create their own games in Ringworlds. Well, thank you so much. And, I think this is a brilliant project and I can't wait to see more about it.